This is the video you guys have been waiting for, gaming on the Galaxy S26 Ultra. Now, I apologize, you had to wait a day for it, but it's finally here. Now, let's give a shout out to our sponsor of this video, Supcase, with your UB Group case, which we'll talk about later on in this video. It's a solid case, and honestly, this device is a really solid, interesting device. Now, start with hardware. The hardware is something that feels familiar, slightly different. It's definitely lighter, 214 grams compared to last year with the titanium. So you can definitely feel that when you're holding the device. It feels lighter in all respects now. Now, the display is one of the biggest new features here. We've got that new privacy display coupled with the dynamic element 2x display. Gorgeous looking display, but privacy, can it work with gaming? That's the question you want to ask, because sometimes you want to game when you're on the bus and the train. You don't want people to see what games you're playing, right? That is also an interesting thing. So we'll check that out in the video. Now, the internals, we're looking at a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy. This chipset is very different from the 8 Elite Gen 5. This is custom for Samsung, and it's not just an overclocked chipset. So this is something we have to see. Now, of course, we can go up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage, a 5,000 milliamp battery, and check this out. Now we do have faster wired charging, up to 60 watt wired charging. I will tell you, when I tested it, this was after it had gone past 50%. It was sitting around 55, 56. Again, charging changes within the cycle. So definitely 60 watts. It's great. It is faster than 45 watts. I like it. Quite impressive. Boom. USB Type-C 3-level charging, which is also nice to see there with the device. So we've got all these new features. We should take our gaming to a different level. But what does that actually mean, right? Let's look at some benchmarks to see where we can actually set that processor in terms of what it can actually do. So starting off with our CPU scores, ooh, these numbers look, I'm looking at it, they look quite impressive. Single core scores 3,682. That is high. That's one of the highest scores I've seen. Multi-core scores 11,213. Now, first time I did a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 benchmark, it was in the 3,000, 10,000s. This is clearly a big win, and I like that. Now, when we go to GPU scores, we're looking at 24,222. So again, some really high numbers telling us that, look, this is a performance beast. This thing can do quite a bit and is quite impressive. So let's talk privacy gaming, because this is something I think a lot of people are going to find super interesting this year. Now, you have the privacy display feature where you can go in and make your full screen private. It's very simple. It's very easy. The app allows you to basically swipe into the notification center, go to privacy display. You can do maximum privacy, which basically just blocks up everything you're showing, or you could do it per conditions, which is like geolocation, or in this case, I'm doing apps. So for instance, I selected all the games I have, and while you're gaming, and yes, if somebody's towards your right or your left or in front of you, this thing will block on the angles. It's very simple, very easy, and it works while you're gaming. It turns a little grayish in terms of screen, in terms of the color, so the color kind of washes out a little bit, and then you're good to go. Like a typical privacy screen, but while you're gaming, it works. So this will work for your games also, not necessarily for the notifications, but just generally blocking out the screen, which I absolutely love. So privacy gaming is a thing and definitely works. Now, I forgot to mention, this also is a Qi2 charging device, which means that you can do MagSafe charging, but you definitely need a case. Now that you're probably thinking of picking up the Galaxy S26 Ultra, a quick word from our sponsor, Supcase, because you're definitely going to need a case and you want to protect this device you've done that upgrade for. And this case right here is one that I really like. This is their UV grip case. Comes in 6 colors. You've got it in like an orange, a blue, a black, desert gold, leather, and armored fiber right here. Now, the case is a military grade protection case, which means it's certified for mil-spec ratings, 15 feet drop tested for real world impact. So dropping off on the street or on the floor, you're fine. Raised edges for your camera, for the screen itself. You've got the bumpers around, and it's also really easy to kind of take your phone out. A couple of things, this has an aluminum build, and it also has a built-in kickstand right here. So you can put it in portrait, landscape mode. That's really solid. And of course, this still has MagSafe capabilities, so boom, right there. Now the case is built for durability to last, but also built for comfort. You can carry this around. I do like the sizing of the case. It's a bit bigger for what I usually carry, but if you want to keep it protected, this is really, really nice. Now the other case is the Pro Mag case, 20 feet military grade protection. Plus you have easy access for the S Pen, CPU and PC hybrid structure, airbag protection. You can either have it with a screen or without a screen. Overall, both cases are really nice, and I think definitely worth picking up for the S26 Ultra. Use the link down below, but let's find out more about this device in terms of gaming and what we want to see in performance. Okay, let's get into the heart of matter. Let's look at some of the games and let's talk about temperatures and listen to some audio, all that fun stuff. So of course, as you know, we're going to start off with our very first game, Call of Duty Mobile. Now with Call of Duty Mobile, you're looking at, of course, settings at max, medium, and we're getting 120 frames per second, running smooth. And you can clearly see I'm using the controller. That is the Backbone kit controller. That's a special edition controller. It's kind of hard to get, but works really well with controller, works well with the Backbone, fit smooth, not an issue. Display 6.9 inches, not a problem. But performance here is very, very smooth. So I like that. Good. Now we move on to PUBG Mobile. PUBG Mobile here again with the settings on screen, extreme, smooth, 120 frames per second on here. Now it dips down a little bit, but you can see how clean and smooth it is in terms of the performance you're getting. And that is a good thing. So you're looking at some really solid performance, again, with the chipset, which is to be expected, by the way. Now, a game I haven't played in a while is Grid Legends, which is a racing game. Popped it on, connected my controller, this time the Xbox controller version from Backbone. And what do you know? I'm getting a nice, smooth, solid 60 FPS. This is nice, and this is also in line with what you would expect. Now, let's get a little bit more dicey, right? So, Delta Force Mobile, we can go 120 FPS on this with the settings you see on screen, and performance-wise, what do you expect? 120 FPS. Now, when it comes to temperatures, with the first 4 games I mentioned, temperatures are hovering around like 90s, 95, 96, that kind of thing in there, and what you see on screen. So nice, cool temperatures. Now we move over to Genshin Impact. And mind you, by the way, I played all these games back to back to back, especially for this recording, just to kind of stress test it to see how hot it will get. Now with Genshin Impact, we were able to play at the highest settings, 60 FPS gameplay. There were some points where it dipped on the 60 FPS, about 55 or so. I did play Genshin for roughly around 30 minutes, and I got about an average, honestly, 60 FPS, which is great to see. So really, really smooth performance on here with Genshin Impact. So that was really nice. Honestly, it's refreshing to have Fortnite back in the store. So I was able to play some Fortnite. I died quickly the first time, but 60 FPS, solid, smooth. Didn't actually mess around with it too much, but you can see again how well it handles. And now after playing Genshin, which was the last game actually out of all the games, I went ahead and did my temperature readings. And even though I played all those games back to back to back, roughly in the period of around almost 2 hours, I only got a maximum heat temperature of 105 degrees, which is good. Some really good temperatures. That's because Samsung stated that they introduced a revamped new vapor chamber, of course, to give you better cooling on the device while you're gaming, while you're doing some really intense stuff. And this was great to see. The performance was great. It's very smooth. Not an issue whatsoever. So I do like that there. Now, you guys probably noticed that you saw a game monitor FPS bar right there, and you're like, what is that? Well, that is from the brand new Game Booster. It's got some really cool features that you can go in there. You can change the performance real quick for your game, and you can also put a system monitor to monitor the system while you're gaming. So no need to you go into developer mode or anything like that, or download an app. It is built in. It fired up, was good and ready to go. So I like that. Temps are great on this thing. How about the speaker? Let's take a quick sample of just a couple of games of how the speakers sound. Speaker test will be coming, I promise you guys, but I think you're going to definitely like this.
Reloading. We've taken the lead.
Sounds good. Dolby Atmos is in there. What about the battery life? So battery life is something that I think maybe not on these first try I'll give you a full gauge, but with the 2 hours of gaming here, I lost roughly around 25% of my battery, which is pretty solid, especially just trying to force it to make sure that I got the highest temperatures possible. So this is a good thing. Now, this is coupled with the 60-watt charger, so it means that you can get fast charging immediately. Plus, if you're plugging it in and you're gaming, you have power direct pass-through, which means that you're not using your battery, but you're actually using power from your charger. So that is also an option to do if you want to go longer gaming sessions. Now, last but not least is Game Hub. I saved this for last because I had some issues. The reason I'm saying this is because none of the games I tried to play off emulation of Steam, which is what Game Hub allows you to do, is play your Steam games, worked. And this is not saying that it doesn't work, but what I noticed is that games like The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, which usually shows compatibility, didn't show it, and also couldn't be played. I tried Cyberpunk, I tried Street Fighter. These are games that I've played on devices like the Z Fold and other Android devices as well. And I think it's because this is a new chipset. This is something you can see that I don't know the exact settings for it. So there's not exact settings to actually play the games you want to. And this is where I have my biggest problem with gaming on Android and Samsung. You need to come save the day here. So we know Apple has PC games like Resident Evil on there. The whole slew of, Capcom Resident Evil games are on the iPhone. It can be played on an iPhone, which is cool. I need that for Android. Samsung, I need a PC level game on here that I can play natively. We know this hardware can do it. We know the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 is the most powerful processor, and the version for Galaxy is the most powerful version. So I need to see it actually work. That is all I'm asking, because what I've seen with this device is that it's got some really great performance. The privacy display functionality is really good and will work for gaming. Performance in terms of benchmarks are solid, and using controllers like the backbone controller works pretty well. Audio is pretty good as well. This is everything that anyone who's picking up this device and is going to be gaming as well wants to see. I know I've rambled a lot. I just want you guys to enjoy this video, and thank you for watching. It's late at night. I gotta go sleep. But if you want to pick up the device, the Galaxy S26 Ultra, use the link down below. It's going to be launching on March 11th. This is Thunder E saying thank you and always enjoy your entertainment. Ooh, this is a long video, but this device is good. Gaming, it's good. Temps are low, real low.